Hey there! Today we'll have a look at a Pelikan pen, but not just any Pelikan pen, but a Pelikan pen that has very special packaging. And this is, you might have guessed, it was recently launched, but it is the pink Pelikan that comes in this very frilly box, which kind of looks like you've bought some type of exotic lingerie, I think, but it is a pink pen, and it is also known as the ladies' pen. Now, before I show you the pen, here it comes with a little booklet, and that has, instructions and all that kind of stuff in it. And this pen was sent to me for review by Joost Appelboom of Appelboom Pennen, and it is only here as a loaner, so we'll go back to. Alright, now here you have the box. The box, I'm holding it upside down, I'm sorry. The box looks like it will be a terrible chore to open, but all you need to do is undo the lacy, loopy string, and the pen will come out. I put it in upside down, as you can see. Makes a horrible noise to take it out. But here you have it, the pen. It's a very girly pen. Alright? This is the M600 model, so that makes it a Souverän pen, and it is, well, about in the middle, M400, 600, 800 and M1000. And if you're making a ladies pen, then it makes sense to not make a giant model, because I think a lot of women have slightly smaller hands than a lot of men, so that makes a lot of sense. And the 600 is a nice model. The 400 is a bit smallish. Actually, someone is reaching me all these pens now. Thank you. It would actually be fairly interesting to see that side by side. So give me a second while I am arranging my pens. A little hard to hold with one hand, but I'm just trying to hold them up there. And as you can see, they are resting on one finger. Wow, that's really difficult. There we go. As you can see, this one here is the M400, then you have 600, 800 and 1000, in this case 1005. So it is definitely somewhere in the mid-range when it comes to size, and I think that was very well chosen. The 600 is a nice size. Now I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Alright, if we start here at the top of the pen, you get that nice Pelikan finial that I really enjoy with the little Pelikan and the Pelikan mother and the baby. It's also, of course, represented on the clip, which looks like a stylized Pelikan with the bill and the little eyes and such. Then you have the white cap, which we have also seen on the M400 Tortoise. Very nice pen that was. And then you have this pink barrel and more white on the piston turning knob. It's a piston filled pen, so you draw up ink from a bottle, no cartridge converter, no eyedroppering, etc. Then you have a nib. Now this is a nib unit that is just a little bit bigger than the M400s. You can see that in the nib. That didn't really help, sorry. So here you have the 400, here you have the 600, and you can definitely also see that in the feed. The feed is just a little bit bigger. So as you can see, you cannot interchange that, but you can put on other nib units from other 600 models, because they just unscrew. It's very easy to switch around. This pen is a piston filler, has no ink window, so you cannot see. I don't have one with an ink window here, but I mean you cannot see, there's no transparent part. However, if you hold it up to the light, it is slightly translucent and you can definitely see the ink level. So that's always nice, because you know how much ink is left. Okay, the section. This is all very Pelikan-ish in shape, nothing spectacular there. And then you have this very nice two-tone nib, which has a little Pelikan on there again, a bit of scroll work, and it says 14C585, and this happens to be a fine nib. And I actually found it to be a pretty pleasant fine. And as far as fines go, I have some paper here, but it's fairly fine, but people do often say that Pelikan nibs run a bit on the broad side, and I could see how this would also be slightly skinny medium. Having said that, performs very well, flows very well, isn't really scratchy. It's a nice fine. So I like that. Now, as to the size, well, as I said, it's not a huge pen, but it's definitely usable. For me, I can use it unposted, and that's the nice thing about the 600 model as opposed to the 400 model. The 400, which I have here, is definitely smaller, and I think, yeah, it's just a little bit thinner. So this is a decent pen size. I would prefer an M800 or M1000, but this is definitely nice. It does post, and then it makes for a very nice pen size, I would say. Okay, now, this is clearly geared towards people who really like pink. I think it is a very pretty pink they have chosen. And as you can see, there are these little sort of white stripes in between the pink, and that's also what makes it a bit translucent. So they have really done a nice job there. It's a very nice pink that even has just a very little bit of marbling on there, which makes a very nice visual in this pen. Okay, so what more can I tell you about the pen? It retails here for about 370 euros, so it is not an extremely cheap pen. It is a piston filler, it is a gold nib, but I don't find it particularly inexpensive. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, it's a Pelikan. You know that when you buy a Pelikan, as far as I know, you buy good quality. I've not really heard a lot of complaints about the brand. I've used a lot of their pens. They've been around for a while. They just make reliable stuff, and that's very nice. It's also a pleasant model, good eye for detail with the little Pelikan on the clip. Just well put together, tight tolerances, everything looks good, nothing really looks out of place. I really like that. Of course, the writing performance is very important, and it writes like a dream. It's a very good writer. So I think all of that is great. Now, things I don't like so much, I'm not going to comment on the color. Actually, I will, because I just did. But yeah, it's pink. If you don't like pink, clearly you shouldn't buy this pen. I don't think this is the most masculine of colors they make, but as I said, it's supposed to be a lady's pen, so in that regard I think they succeeded well. Also because it's not really a candy cane pink. They didn't overdo it. They picked a nice pen that you could take to a business meeting and it wouldn't look too girly or too unprofessional. I think that's great. So there isn't that much I don't like, apart from one thing. And that is maybe nitpicking, but it's a piston-filled pen. That means you dip it in a bottle of ink, and with such a white section, it's not that difficult to stain. And I dipped it, put in some ink, and I definitely saw some discoloration. Don't worry, Joost, because I immediately got it off too, but you have to act quickly in such a case, and that's a bit of an issue for me. You can't just put in a cartridge, you have to use bottle ink because it's a piston filler. So it's a little bit... The white, I'm not too sure about. I don't know if that's a very smart choice Pelikan did. I mean, if you only use washable blue, it's not a big deal. But with a pen like this, of course, some type of pink ink comes to mind. What you can do, of course, is just take an eyedropper, unscrew the nib unit, and just put the ink in drop by drop. But it shouldn't really be the way the pen's filled. So that's my one issue with it. Apart from that, I think Pelikan did a nice job. They also did a really cool job on this box. I mean, you can say a lot about it, but this is definitely a fancy, maybe even a bit romantic way to package the pen. So clearly a very good gift pen, I would say, or gift to yourself, of course. And I think Pelikan did a good job. Okay, measurements of this pen will be on the website. Go to sbrebrown.com. You will also find high-resolution pictures there of the pen, as well as the writing sample. Writing sample is what we're going to do next. Hope this was useful so far. Joost, thanks a lot for lending me this pen, allowing me to borrow it. In Dutch we only have one word for both borrowing and lending. I'm sorry, sometimes I confuse the two. And enough linguistics. Let's write. And I will be glad to see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with this fancy Pelikan Souverän M600 in pink. The paper is Rhodia and the ink SD Dupont Royal Blue. Okay, let's do a bit of writing. That's a fine nib, of course. Bit of feedback. But I actually like it a lot. Fine nib. Here we have a fine nib on a Mont Blanc M. You hear that difference? More expensive pen, nib with more feedback. Both gold. So, okay, a bit of fast writing maybe. See how well the nib and feed keep up. You see there's a bit of skipping here in these diagonal strokes. I think that's because the nib could be a little bit wetter. That is something that I could try to fix, but out of the box, that's what you may expect. Okay, let's look at the wetness. It's definitely on the wetter side of things, I would say. Line variation. There's definitely some line variation to be had. That is not an excessive amount of pressure, so you see you can definitely add a bit of character to your writing with this nib. Not as springy as, say, an M1000 nib, but it's not an M1000 either. First writing is smooth, but you can see the pen starts to run dry, and I wouldn't be surprised if it stops writing at some point. It's definitely drier than it is when it is aligned properly. Alright, thanks a lot to Appelboom Pennen for lending me this pen. You can go there. You can also go to my website, click the Appelboom Pennen banner and pick up your pen with a 10% discount. I do know that currently, as I'm doing this is the 1st of November 2015, that these are pretty much sold out, but there is a new batch coming. So just so you know, 10% discount if you click their banner on my website. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.